Hey guys, it's Karina here with another video. So I hope you guys are all doing well during this pandemic. I just really encourage you to rest and relax and just really take this time to process and reflect and enjoy this downtime. Enjoy time with family and enjoy time being outside. So this week I want to talk about feminism. So the Google definition of feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. So something that bothers me about the perception of feminism is that a lot of people see it as women getting angry for no reason, or getting angry for unjust reasons, or just fighting for something that doesn't need to be fought for, which I think is really unfortunate because there's definitely still a huge gap between the sexes and there's still a huge inequality between men and women. We've definitely gotten very far and we've definitely improved in a ton of ways, but we still have lots of ways to go with the equality of men and women. And something really unfortunate as well is a lot of sexism goes unseen, or we don't care, or we hear about it but we just don't do anything about it, which is really sad. And I think in my own life I can reflect upon this too. When I was younger, boys would say like, oh, we're gonna beat you in the soccer game because we're boys and boys better than girls, and like I would just let those comments slide off because like in my head I thought I was bad at sports, so I just didn't really care that much. But really that's really sad because like we do have just as equal as a chance to win that game, and we should stand up for our rights and we should care. And I think it's really important that we open our eyes to the sexism that occurs and stand up for what we believe in and stand up for equality. Something really unfortunate as well is that there is still a gap in the wages and in women and men's salaries. In 2017, Statistics Canada said that Canadian women were making 87 cents for every dollar men earned. That is still a large pay gap. And in the show I just recently watched called Good Trouble, the main character, Mariana, talks about the pay gap in the engineering industry. And in the show she really fights for their rights and exposes the pay gap between men and women, and even people of different color. So it's a really amazing show and I highly recommend you watch it. Another cool show I just watched as well is called Self-Made. It's on Netflix and it's an amazing short series about sexism and racism during the 1950s. It's about this woman who tries to build her own business, and it talks about all the sexism and racism she faces during that time. And watching that series just made me so thankful for the women who have come before me and have fought for women's rights. And yeah, that just makes me so thankful. So now I'm just going to talk about feminism from a Christian perspective. So I strongly believe that Jesus is and was a feminist. Jesus respected women and treated them with dignity. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is about Jesus, and he is walking through this crowd and a woman touches him. And this woman had been bleeding for 12 years and she was considered ceremonially unclean, and she touches Jesus. And as soon as you touch someone, they're now considered unclean. But he asked, who touched me? And the woman raised her hand. And so he simply says nothing about her being ritually impure, but instead addresses her as daughter and says that her faith has saved her, and he tells her to go in peace. So it's just such a beautiful verse and just such a beautiful story. And it just shows that God did really respect women, and Jesus really treated women with respect. Another verse that kind of bothers me in the Bible is 1 Timothy 2:11. It says, a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. And this verse has been used very much out of context over centuries to essentially get women to submit to male authority. In first century Ephesus and Corinth, there was a lot of women in the church, especially widows. A particular group of young widows that was of some concern to Paul. They had developed a reputation in the church, and it was a bad reputation. They would dress promiscuously, they would sleep around, gossip, spread unorthodox ideas, interrupt church services. They were just a bother to the church. And we were led to the conclusion that Paul, when he asked women to be silent, he was not talking about all Christian women. He was talking to a specific group of women. Paul didn't have a problem with women. For example, he honored Priscilla, a teacher of the apostle Apollos, and praised Timothy's mother and grandmother for teaching Timothy to be a man of good faith, and many, many others. So in conclusion, I think as Christians and as non-Christians, we should stand up for women, and we should fight for our rights and strive for equality. I think that we should be proud of the beautiful woman we are. We should stand up for ourselves, have confidence, and fight for equality. So I hope this video encouraged you, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. Stay safe and stay healthy. And know that if God put you to it, He will put you through it. Bye, guys.